for Hudson, back to Celebrini, one time, scores! Macklin Celebrini!
What's going on, guys, and welcome to my Macklin Celebrini career simulation. If you missed it a few days ago, the San Jose Sharks won the draft lottery, and I'd say there's a 99.99% chance they'll be taking Macklin Celebrini. I think you could definitely argue they're the team that needs him the most, that the roster is absolutely depleted. So I'm going to try and do a career sim with Celebrini on the San Jose Sharks. Now, before we get to the franchise, guys, I'm going to show you what Celebrini looks like in game. As obviously, you actually have to create him. He's not part of the default roster playing in college. So I'm using Vassey's rosters, but I have edited Celebrini a little bit. As you guys can see there, he's 81 overall with highly potential. I boosted his overall a bit just because I think he will be a bit more NHL ready when he's drafted. Playmaker there, you can see very good puck skills, decent shot, solid skater for sure. Physicality is probably his lowest thing, but he's supposed to be pretty sound defensively. For a 17-year-old offensive player, they're actually not that bad. Again, you can see the X factors there, ankle break, elite edges, a tape to tape. He can, of course, grow more throughout the franchise, so excited to get started. Alright guys, so I just simmed to the 2024 NHL Entry Draft in the first year of franchise. As you can see, I took control of the Ducks, traded up to the first overall pick, and then traded it to the Sharks. So they took Celebrini first overall, which is exactly what we wanted. Now, the first year draft class unfortunately doesn't grow. Actually, I take it back. He actually got a couple X factors, added Spinorama and Relentlessness. That's like the Bobby Orr X factor. His stats, though, look to be the same, 81 overall. So he grew a couple X factors. Stats, though, did not change. Interesting. You guys are curious about the rest of the first round, but again, we're just going to sim through the summer, and then hopefully the Sharks actually play him in the NHL. Alright guys, we're at the start of Celebrini's first year now, and check this out. They got him playing between Max Pacioretty and Jonathan Marchessault on the first line. So Sharks spent some money. Marchessault here, they paid just under $6 million on a one-year deal. They also signed Jonathan Drouin up to an 85 overall. They got him $5 million for 5 years. Couture there's on the second line with Zedlin up to an 86. They also traded for Nick Paul because he's under contract with the Lightning. Eklund 85 is on the third line, which is kind of nuts. Even Bluger here they signed. Defensively, still looking pretty weak. They definitely need to beef that up. Goaltending-wise, we're running black with Vanacek still. Let's see, is Celebrini on the first power play? He is. Now, I feel like the Sharks should definitely give him a good chance to succeed here, playing on that first line between two solid wingers. Also, if you guys are curious, the Vancouver Canucks actually won the Stanley Cup in the first year sim. Let's see what happens here in Celebrini's first season. Alright guys, we're out into year one. As you can see, the centers there picking first overall after finishing last place in the NHL. So this is the James Hagen's draft. And you might notice the Sharks are not in the draft lottery. And that's because they actually made the playoffs the first year they had Celebrini. Carolina Hurricanes win the Stanley Cup. I'll give you guys a look at the playoff tree first. So the Sharks actually matched up with the Anaheim Ducks, who I'm controlling, and they lost there in 6. But still, going from a historically bad season last year to making the playoffs their first year at Celebrini, I think is quite impressive. We'll take a look at the awards here and see if potentially Celebrini did take home the Calder. The Avs absolutely cleaning up. Wait a minute. Wait a minute. The Chicago Blackhawks kept Bedard out of the NHL? That is just classic EA. The dude's like 86 overall and they don't have him playing in the NHL. What the heck? Also, Freddie Anderson, back-to-back Vezina and William Jennings. Pretty impressive. Let's take a look here. Yeah, so unfortunately, no awards for Celebrini, but you want to see what his stat total was the first season. The playing first line between Marchessault and Pacioretty, Celebrini put up 61 points. The fewest of the three was a -13. Had 33 goals and 28 assists. Actually, more goals than assists. 251 shots. He actually put up a bit more shots there than Marchessault. I mean, time on ice, 22 minutes. Marchessault, only 20, so that's probably explaining it. I feel like, you know, a pretty solid rookie campaign. Bedard there, 96 points. That is absolutely insane. Unfortunately, I can't actually just look at rookie skater as it's the end of the season, so it no longer shows all the stat total, but I'm sure, you know, Celebrini would have been in contention had Bedard not been there. Also, too, guys, in regards to the standings, the Sharks, they're at 96 points, finishing third place in the Pacific. Not bad at all. And now the start of year 2, guys, you can see Celebrini still playing first line center, now 85 overall. Unfortunately, has not gotten his zone ability yet, and he's got Will Eklund actually playing on his left wing. Good to see him getting more ice time. Marchessault still there on the right. Looks like Pacioretty's gone. You got Will Smith making the NHL now, 83 overall. Duran's going up in rating. Pretty much same forward group, though. Now, look at the defense. They brought in Brandon Montour. That's a big-time signing. Playing on the top pair there, Ferraro. In terms of the goaltending, Logan Thompson they brought in. So Sharks trying to get a little bit better, still being led by Celebrini. I mean, him and Smith as a 1-2, Couture on the third line. That's pretty solid. Now check this out, guys. We're at the end of year 2. The Detroit Red Wings jumped up from 10-1, basically the biggest jumps you can make, to win the Gavin McKenna draft lottery. I would honestly be so pumped if Detroit did that. Obviously, I'd like to also be in a playoff spot by that point, but winning McKenna, I think, would definitely turn this franchise around. You might have noticed there the Buffalo Sabres actually won the Stanley Cup this season. Now, the San Jose Sharks again made the playoffs. They actually played the Dallas Stars there in round 1. Unfortunately, they were out in 7. The fact that since they drafted Celebrini, they haven't missed the playoffs is honestly super impressive. I think The same goes for the Leafs after they drafted Matthews. I'm pretty sure he's never missed the playoffs, but don't quote me on that. Now look at the Sharks here. Marchessault's leading scorer. Celebrini, though, only 1 point back. Had a plus 16. You can see one more goal to Marchessault, but a couple less assists. Celebrini's looking good. He's up to an 88. Also, too, his potential has grown from high elite to medium franchise. That is very, very impressive. In terms of the standings here, guys, you can see the Sharks were a wildcard team, 92 points, finishing 4th place there in the Pacific. Take a quick look at the awards. I doubt, Celebrini is going to get anything, but okay. I was like, maybe he got the Lady Bing. That's Will Smith, though, getting the Calder. So, again, I think Celebrini definitely got screwed by Bedard getting kept in juniors, but we'll move on to year 3 now. Celebrini progressing quite well. And now this is kind of interesting, guys. To start year 3, they've actually moved Celebrini to the wing, and Eklund there's in the middle. Let's take a look at his face-off. 69. Celebrini's got 78. So, I mean, Celebrini should probably be in the middle, but whatever. Marchessault's on that right wing. So the first line players haven't changed. Will Smith's gotten better there, 88 overall as the second line center. They brought in Ryan Hartman. I think Bystedt just made the team. Same with Ozzy Weisblatt defensively. Muhammad Lynn's now on the team, 84 overall. Connor Timmins, I think they've also signed. Goaltenders here, they still got Logan Thompson. So, looks to me like probably a wild card team, but we'll see how they do. Alright, guys, so it's now the end of year 3. As you can see here, Calgary actually winning the draft lottery. They'll probably be taking Landon Dupont first overall. I don't know if you guys saw, he was the first ever defenseman to get granted exceptional status in the WHL. Oilers, they actually win the Stanley Cup, so McDavid, finally a champion. I don't believe the Sharks made the playoffs, but we'll take a quick look here at the playoff tree. And yeah, they do not. So I feel like Celebrini, you got to keep him in the middle. Clearly, having him play the wing is not the way to go. Take a quick look and see at the awards if Celebrini got any. But I mean, I feel like, probably not. He's still competing against McDavid in his prime, Kucherov, a lot of other very good players. And so in his 3rd season, Celebrini there at 78 points, actually outscored by Eklund. Was also -4. This year had a lot more assists than goals. 89 overall now, still franchise potential. Of course, this was his contract year, so next season he'll have a new contract. Probably going to be like 10 million times 8 years, something like that. Sharks weren't terrible, 80 points there, but definitely not a playoff team. We'll see if they can bounce back next season. As you guys, at the start of year 4, you can see the 2 Wills are on the first line. Eklund left wing, Smith in the middle. They both gained zone abilities. Zetterlund's actually first line right wing now instead of Marchessault. Looks like he's gone. You got Groshev here playing with Celebrini. Still only 89. He should get to a 90, then get his zone ability. Berkeley Catton here. Wow, they actually drafted him 8th overall as well. That was with the Penguins pick, so to get him and Celebrini in 2024, pretty ridiculous. Let's just see here. No one else really knew. Maybe Cam Lund making the team defensively. Muhammad Lynn, they got a 79 Torrey Krug. Goaltending-wise, Logan Thompson still the starter. Let's see how they do. Actually, I almost forgot. Let me take a look and see what did Celebrini get signed for. Wow, pretty close. $11 million for 4 years. Kind of like a Matthews-esque contract, looking for that shorter term. Hopefully, like I said, he can get to a 90, get that zone ability, and start tearing it up. All right, guys, we're now at the end of year 4 here. As you can see, the Rangers actually won the Stanley Cup. The Sharks are back in the playoffs. Unfortunately for them, though, another first-round exit, losing in 5 to the Avalanche. So, like I said, I kind of compared Celebrini to Matthews, and so far, pretty similar, playoff record. Can't get out of that first round. Take a look at individual awards. Basically, we're just trying to see if Celebrini took home any. I'm going to guess no. The San Jose Sharks coach actually got the Jack Adams. That's kind of cool, but no awards there for Celebrini. I guess I probably should be looking at his stat total first, so that'll give us a better idea if he doesn't have a chance. Wow, -26 on the year, 66 points. He has Spinorama's zone ability now. They also gave him Wheels X Factor, 88 overall, so he dropped by 1. But he still has that franchise potential. Interesting. I'm not really sure why he's not, simming amazingly, but maybe he'll start to turn it around here. The 2 Wills, both doing pretty good. In terms of the standings, San Jose there finished 4th place. Actually, basically tied with Anaheim, both at 87, but Anaheim had a couple extra wins. Wow, check this out, guys. To start year 5, Brady Tkachuk is now a San Jose Shark. I'm guessing they just signed him as a free agent. And yeah, big, almost $13 million contract for the next 6 years. Playing on the first line there with Will Smith. Got Groshev. Weisblatt's on the second with Eklund, Celebrini. Berkeley Catton now 87 playing 3rd line. Sharks team's definitely coming together. Defensively still pretty weak. They brought in Ryan Pollock, but no true number 1. Goaltending-wise, they got Kirsch here, 84 overall, 22 years old, playing Logan Thompson. So pretty good tandem. We'll see if they can finally get out of that first round. And one thing I just noticed, guys, it's definitely going to hurt Celebrini. He's not playing power play 1. He is on power play 2, but definitely be getting less minutes than he was even, his rookie season. All right, guys, so now that year 5, as you can see there, the New Jersey Devils won the Stanley Cup. Unfortunately, the Sharks could not make the playoffs, so either they don't make it or they're a first-round exit. Take a look next at Celebrini's stats. They finished the year 4th in team scoring, only 59 points. I don't know if I mentioned it yet, but this is the Simmons scoring set to high, -18. 18 minutes of ice time, so he actually was getting decent ice time. Dropped again in rating to 87. Still has that franchise potential, but just interesting to see him, kind of getting beat out in ice time by Will Eklund, Brady Tkachuk they signed, Will Smith. Obviously not looking good for him. Take a look here at the standings. See where the Sharks finished. Wow, dead last in the division. 73 points. I'm really hoping for their sake they weren't dead last in the NHL. Okay, no, they were 27th, but still, they're starting to go the wrong way. And obviously with that point total, I highly doubt Celebrini gets any awards. And yeah, unfortunately does not get any. Alright guys, so at the start of the 6th season, as you can see, Brady Tkachuk, first line left wing with Will Smith and this Talden guy. I feel like he was a top pick. Actually, 2020 first rounder. Wow. And good for him getting a chance on that first line. Groshev, Eklund, Celebrini there is the second. You still got Catton on the third. Defensively, have they solved the #1 defenseman problem? Does not look like it. They brought in 81 overall Brodin. Ferraro 87 isn't too bad. In terms of the goaltending, they got Komiso on the team now is an 86. And Celebrini still isn't on the first power play. Definitely should be playing over like Groshev, but oh well. Alright guys, so it's now the end of the 6th season. As you can see there, the Florida Panthers won the Stanley Cup. Unfortunately for the Sharks, they do not make the playoffs. Take a look and see how Celebrini did. Down the top on the Ducks, 104. Alright, so Celebrini, 5th in scoring on the Sharks, 67 minus 11. Still has that franchise potential, but really hasn't come alive yet. Groshev, Eklund, Smith, Tkachuk all above him. I am curious, minus 11 this year. What's his best season so far? So I guess it was actually his sophomore year at just over a point per game. His only season where he was also positive in terms of the plus minus. So he's definitely got to turn it around. 1 year left on this $11 million deal. And look at the division here, guys. You can see again the Sharks finished last place in the Pacific. 3rd last in the NHL. Only the Predators and the Tampa Bay Lightning are doing worse than them. I mean, the Lightning, I feel like the dynasty eventually going to come to an end when Stamkos, Hedman start getting older. Even Kucherov's probably 30 plus now. Take a quick look. You never know. Celebrini could have won like the Lady Bang or something, but I doubt it. And yeah, no awards for him. Alright guys, so it's another start of the 7th season. As you can see here, Celebrini still on the second line, playing with Eklund and Spacek now. Groshev, Smith, Tkachuk is the first line. Catton still 3rd line center. They still don't have a #1 defenseman in San Jose. They also don't really have a #1 goalie. Like Komiso, I guess, is, but definitely lower end. And they still got Celebrini on that second power play. I feel like that's really going to hurt his growth. Now, he is on a contract year, so maybe he'll pop off. Alright guys, so check this out. At the end of year 7, the Anaheim Ducks actually won the Stanley Cup. This is the team, of course, I'm in control of, but it's all automated by the CPU. They actually beat the Sharks in the first round with a sweep. So again, like I said, Sharks just seem to be cursed in that first round. They can't make it out. And I'll get Celebrini this year. You can see he had 72 points, 82 games, not too bad, minus 7. 88 overall, medium franchise. I don't think he's touched 90 yet. The highest he's been rated I've seen is an 89. And as you can see here, the Sharks did finish as a wild card team this year before losing to the Ducks there in 4. Maybe Celebrini finally gets an award. Jack Hughes, oh my, that's funny. The year of the Hughes, Jack Hughes, Art Ross, and Hart, and then Luke Hughes, James Norris, and Lady Bing. Oh my gosh, the brothers cleaning up. Pretty cool to see. But yeah, still looking for Celebrini's first award. Haven't got it yet. Alright guys, so it's another start of the 8th season. As you can see, a bit of a switch up here in the top 6. The two Wills are reunited. Will Eklund, Will Smith on that first line spot check. We got Kovalenko here playing Celebrini and Tkachuk on the second line. Curious to see the contract Celebrini got. And $7 million for 2 years. So this does bring him to free agency, I believe. He'll be 27. Maybe he wants a chance to leave San Jose. Defensively here, Ferraro still the #1 there, 87 overall. Goaltending, Ball and Thompson, not great, but I mentioned before, goalie doesn't really matter too much in this game. Celebrini still in that second unit. Let's see what happens. Alright guys, so it's at the end of the 8th season. As you can see there, the Philadelphia Flyers won the Stanley Cup. Unfortunately, the Sharks did not make the playoffs. Again, they haven't made it to round 2 yet since drafting Celebrini first overall. They made the playoffs about every other year, maybe slightly better than that, but they really haven't had much success. Looking at individual awards with Dard there, Lady Bing. I feel like that's something Celebrini could maybe get. Ferraro, Bill Masterton, but again, Celebrini still has not won an award yet in this career sim. And this season he had 63 points. So like he's doing good but not great. And I feel like going first overall, you want great. Down to an 87. Also dropped from medium franchise potential to medium elite after starting out high elite. So very disappointing sim so far. Luckily he's only 26. He has a lot of time left. In terms of the Sharks season, guys, oh my goodness. 58 points. Last in the division, maybe dead last in the NHL. And yeah, they finished last in the NHL. Chance to pick another first overall player. And they get absolutely screwed here, guys. Toronto jumps from 11 to 1. The Max jump to pick first overall. And then Columbus from 10 to 2. That's nuts. Alright, guys, well, let's start at year 9 here. As you can see, Celebrini's on the second line between Berkeley Catton, who's moved up to the top 6, and Spacek. They're going top heavy. Will Smith, Will Eklund, Brady Tkachuk on that first line. Again, this could be Celebrini's last year with San Jose Sharks. 1 year left, $7.3 million. Also his last year to grow. Hopefully for his sake, you know, he does well. Maybe gets a big payday somewhere new. Goaltending wise, Sharks aren't that great. So I mean, I don't know how this team got last place in the NHL last year with this sick of a top 6, but I guess it's probably because their defense and goaltending are so bad. All right, guys, so looking at the draft lottery here, you can see Sharks picking 3rd overall, finished 2nd last in the NHL. So for whatever reason, after they started to play pretty good, they made some bad decisions, and they're back to being a basement team. The Ducks, though, who I'm just having like the computer control, have won their 2nd Stanley Cup in this career simulation. That is pretty crazy to see. Now taking a look here at the Sharks, Celebrini, 5th in scoring, 57 points, minus 25. Jeez, I am curious. So he's 27 now. He's no longer growing. Every single season, like we were saying, he's been a dash player, except for that one where he had 83 points. Maybe he leaves San Jose. I don't think I can see the contract extensions here, but I'll definitely check for agency to see if he is available. Awards, quickly, we'll take a look. I doubt, Celebrini's going to take home any here. We do have one Sharks player, Barch there, getting the Bill Masterton the year after Ferraro got it, but it looks to be it. All right, guys, so it's another start of year 10. As you can see here, the Sharks still have the 2 wheels on that first line with Kaliev, 89 overall, playing right wing. Celebrini did extend with them, 87 overall, so he actually took a pay cut. $6.3 million for the next 5 years, so we'll see if he actually plays out that contract. Chuck's down to 87 playing with him. You got Cat in there, 3rd line defensively. Finally, they have a number 1, Levshinov, 90 overall. They must have signed as a free agent, and yeah, 3 years there, $10.6 million. Goalies, they got 282s, but they got number 1. They got a sick top 6. Maybe they'll finally get back in the playoffs here. All right, guys, so it's at the end of the 10th season. As you can see, they're the National Predators for the Stanley Cup. Unfortunately, Sharks do not make the playoffs. I think I was looking at it, and we finished, last place in the division. Like, that's just incredible. I don't know what this Sharks management is doing. Take a look here. Okay, so they got 5th last in the NHL. At least they weren't, basement team, but pretty close. And in terms of Celebrini, he had 56 points, 32 games. Again, I feel like he's definitely underperforming based on being a 1st overall pick. I mean, he literally was higher rated than he was now. He's got the stats, just for whatever reason is not clicking in San Jose. And now check out the awards here, guys. This Frondel dude on the Preds, Art Ross Trophy and Hart Trophy, I'm guessing kind of carried them to that Stanley Cup. Luke Hughes again with a couple. Frondel also got the Conn Smythe. So yeah, big time player for them. Barch back-to-back the Masters in there with the Sharks, but Celebrini still looking for his first award. And now look at this, guys. To start year 11, Celebrini's back to being on the first line. They're giving him a chance playing there with Eklund and Kaliev. This Poltapov guy, 89, playing with Smith and Catton. So like, the top 6 looks good. I don't really get the Sharks issue. They got a number 1 defenseman. Did they fix the goalies? Harenstam, 86. Okay, so maybe this is the year they'll finally make it back to the playoffs. Celebrini, though, still isn't on that first power play unit, but at least he's on the first line, so hopefully it's finally a good year. All right, guys, so it's the end of the 11th season, and even though the Sharks team looks good on paper, they finished last in the NHL, and to add insult to misery, they don't even win a lottery pick. As you can see there, they dropped to number 3. Devils win the Stanley Cup. We'll take a look. Maybe somehow we got some awards. Also, too, of course, had to see how Celebrini did. On the season, Celebrini, 56 points. Jeez. I'm honestly not sure if I've ever seen him sim this bad. Like, pretty shocking, to be honest. And as I mentioned, the Sharks finished last in the NHL, and they did that with 62 points. So they have had worse seasons, but 62 is pretty rough. Quick look here at individual awards. I mean, Demidov, like, drafted, 5th overall in the Celebrini draft, and he's got an Art Ross trophy there. Hopefully Celebrini can turn it around. Zelliger now with the Oilers, and he wins to James Norris. Very interesting to see what happens. 10 years plus into franchise. We got another Sharks player there wearing the Bill Masterton, and unfortunately, nothing for Celebrini. All right, guys, so it's another start of the 12th season. As you can see, the Sharks' top 6 is looking pretty much the same. Celebrini now on the 2nd line with Catton and Poltapov. They've also got this Booker guy, 88 overall, playing 3rd line center. Levshinov still there. Goring, 86. Medvedov, 87. I mean, you'd think like they would start to have some success. 85, 83 goalie. This does not look like the worst team in the NHL by any means, so we'll see if they can turn it around here. All right, guys, so now the end of the 12th season. As you can see, the Flyers won the Stanley Cup. They actually beat out the Ducks. I'm pretty sure the Ducks have lost Stanley Cup final last 2 years. And obviously, they won a couple, so kind of a dynasty. Sharks there, make it to the playoffs. Unfortunately, another first-round exit, this time in 7 to the Calgary Flames. Like I said, I think they're just cursed or something, getting so unlucky. I want to take a quick look here at the Clarence Campbell. Yeah, the Ducks have won it 3 of the last 4 years. Pretty impressive. Individual awards, again, probably not going to see Celebrini's name, but obviously every single year. I want to take a quick look. Unfortunately, did not get anything. And now take a look at the stat page. Celebrini there, 4th in scoring, 75 points. Also a +8 on the year. Okay, he's 30 years old now. Pretty crazy. I mean, at least, solid season from him. And right here, you guys can see they finished 2nd in the Pacific Division, essentially tied the Flames. Hopefully, the Sharks and Celebrini can both, keep this up next year and make it back to the playoffs. All right, guys, now to start the 13th season, you can see the Sharks have switched up a little bit. Berkeley Catton on the first line, Will Smith, Bucher. I mean, the top 6 is nuts. Poltapov, Eklund, Celebrini is their 2nd line. Their entire top 6 is 88+. Defensively, they no longer have Levshinov, but they got an 86 and 87 on the top pair. Goaltending-wise, they got this Gruel guy who's an 86. Celebrini still not playing first line. They've actually got Gunler Kaliev on D opposed to an actual defenseman. Celebrini there on the second unit. So we'll see if they get back in the playoffs. Maybe win their first round, and maybe Celebrini gets his first award. All right, guys, so it's now the end of the 13th season. The Columbus Blue Jackets there actually win a Stanley Cup. And the Sharks finally get out of the first round. They beat the Flames in 6. They got some revenge. Swept the Golden Knights, their rival. Unfortunately, though, lose the Coyotes in the conference final. But still, good for them getting out of there. Ponikarovsky and the Ducks, 122 points. Where are they finding these guys? Spotcheck here, I believe, as well, was a former Sharks player. Yeah, he was. And all of a sudden, now he's popping off with the Ducks franchise. So take a look here and see how the Sharks players did. Will Smith had 113. Celebrini there, 87 points. He's now at 90. This is the highest he's ever been rated at 31 years old. Okay, let's go. 34 goals, 53 assists is a plus 10. Good to see. In terms of the standings, they finished second place in the division with 106 points. I can't believe how good this Ducks team's doing, just letting the computer, take control. Individual awards here. We'll see if Celebrini maybe somehow got something. Obviously not holding out too much hope, and unfortunately, yeah, still nothing. This Ponikarovsky guy, third straight Maurice Richard. This is kind of crazy, guys. I randomly clicked on the retirement page, and Nathan MacKinnon and Cale Makar retired together. Makar's now on the Washington Capitals, 38 years old. Over a point per game as a D-man. Just crazy. Over 1,100 assists as well. And then MacKinnon there plays his entire career with the Avs. 2,000 points he hit. Are you kidding me? 888 goals is kind of sick. Almost 1,200 assists. What a career for both those guys. All right, guys, so on the start of the 14th season, Celebrini back to being on the first line, 90 overall now, which is pretty awesome. Again, his highest rating yet. Playing with Berkeley Catton, who's a 91, and Will Smith, 92. Berkeley Catton as well was on the third line for a bit, so both these guys look to be late bloomers. You got Eklund on the second with Bucher, Poltapov, so again, that top six going to carry, I think, the entire top six, except for Bucher. Yeah, zone abilities. Defensively here, 87, 88 top pair. You got Duda who's an 88. Looking pretty good. I thought for a second that was Edward Vlasic. You got Alex Vlasic, though, on the Sharks. Goaltending 82, 84. I feel like this team should be back to the playoffs. We'll see if they can pull it off. Also, too, power play 1. Celebrini's back on it. Hopefully, helps them put up some more points. And look at this, guys. The Sharks didn't make the playoffs this year, but they do jump from 12 to 2 to get the second overall pick. I think 12 means, they're one of the better teams to miss. Take a look at the standings here. Yeah, they finished 82 points, 4th in the Pacific. I mean, not terrible, not great. Again, looking at that team on paper, pretty surprising still to not see them in the playoffs. Celebrini this season had 76 points, only a -1, so not too bad. He does drop down to 88 overall. How many years left does he have on that contract? This was actually the last year of a $6.3 million deal, so could see him in free agency. In terms of the awards, guys, we'll take a quick look. That spot check guy who was on the Sharks takes home the Hart Trophy. The Ducks, honestly, just kind of cleaning up. Celebrini, though, is he not going to get a single award this entire video? Hopefully, comes through with one. Alright, guys, we're now 15 years into Celebrini's career. As you can see, he re-signed with the San Jose Sharks. I was kind of surprised. I really thought one of these times he would have signed somewhere else in free agency. Let's see. 3-year deal there, paying him over $12.5 million. A lot better than his last contract. I think pretty much double his last contract, to be honest. Eklund there is down to an 85. He's 35 now. Celebrini is only 32, but it looks like he might start dropping in rating soon. This Duda guy's up to a 90. The top 4 actually looking not bad. Goalies, they got 84 Grew, 82 Shelley. See if the Sharks can do a little bit better this year. Alright, guys, so it's now the end of the 15th season. As you can see there, the Winnipeg Jets won the Stanley Cup. Unfortunately, the Sharks did not make the playoffs. They actually traded away their first-round pick to the Panthers, I think. They were close, though. 5th there in the division, 87 points, so just 4 shy. And now Berkeley Catton led the team in scoring this year with 90. Celebrini had 88 with plus 18. Still 90 overall. 33 years old and playing some of his better hockey. Again, a huge part of that's just his ice time. They really weren't playing him much there for a bit for whatever reason. Ryan Leonard winning an Art Ross trophy. I don't think I've ever seen him do that. Faber there with a Norris. Leonard also got the Lady Bang. Jeez. Looking to see Celebrini. Unfortunately, still no award. Alright, guys, so it's now the start of the 16th season. As you can see, Macklin Celebrini is playing first line center again between Berkeley Catton and this Bucher guy, 85 overall at 31. What a good amount of X factors, though. 89 Tierney on the second line with the 2 wheels in Eklund and Smith. They got Poltapov there, 85 third line. Defensively, Duda's up to an 89, so not looking too bad. I don't know about this 72 on the bottom pair. Usually, though, later in franchise, you'll have some pretty weak defensemen. 85-84 goalie tandem. I feel like, Sharks definitely have a chance of getting back in the playoffs. Alright, guys, so it's now the end of the 16th season. As you can see there, the Philadelphia Flyers won their Stanley Cup. They actually beat out the Blackhawks in the finals, so like a rematch of the 2010 Stanley Cup final. Unfortunately, Sharks do not make a playoff, so take a look here and see where they finished. Last place in the division again. Luckily, 79 points isn't terrible, but definitely isn't great either. And I'll take a look at Celebrini's stats here. He actually led the team in scoring, tied with Will Smith. Both had 80, 33 goals, 47 assists, and he's dropped down to an 87. Wow, he was a 90 overall to start the year. I feel like that drop's definitely more related to his age being 34 than putting up almost a point per game, because otherwise wouldn't make a ton of sense. He's going to have 1 year left at $12 million. Then we'll see whether or not he finally signs with the new team. In terms of the awards, I doubt Celebrini's taking anything. Frank and Haser getting the Art Ross is honestly super surprising. Take a look. Does Celebrini get his first trophy? And unfortunately does not. Alright guys, so let's start the 17th season. As you can see, Cat and Celebrini still in that first line with Will Smith on the right wing. Tierney here, 23 years old, 90 overall now. He was actually 3rd overall pick by the Sharks back in 2035. And he's a grinder. Jeez, you don't usually see grinders get that high rated. Eklund's still there, but he's down to an 83, being 37 again. I think Celebrini probably going to start dropping in ratings, so he honestly might not win a single award. I'm not sure if I've ever done one of these where the player didn't win a single award throughout his entire career. Defensively, like, actually looked better than last season. Goaltending-wise, pretty much the same, 85, 83, so let's see what happens. Now, at the end of the 17th season here, guys, you can see the Rangers actually won the Stanley Cup, and luckily the Sharks did make the playoffs. Unfortunately, they get swept by the Canucks in round 1, so I feel like they're definitely cursed. Maybe it's Celebrini that's cursed, because in 17 years, they've only made it out of the first round 1 time. Like, that is pretty crazy. I feel like that's actually worse than the Leafs, to be honest. Now, looking at Celebrini, he actually led the team in scoring, 73 points, had a lot more assists. I think it was just like his rookie year where he's more of a goal scorer. Plus 10 rating, still an 87. He is 35, so I think this is the first year where he technically can retire. Chances are there's probably no chance of it till at least like 37, but we'll definitely have to start checking just to be sure. Maybe, too, he won like the Lady Bang or something this year. Still looking for his first award. Landon DuPont there, winning James Norris, definitely is pretty cool. And it looks like, yeah, no awards for Celebrini still. Now check this out, guys. To start the 18th season, the San Jose Sharks have signed James Hagens, 86 overall. Maybe they even traded for him. Obviously, he was the 1st overall pick 2025, the year after Celebrini. He still has all his X factors. Celebrini, there's 1 overall higher, but down to 3 X factors. Let's see. He re-signed with the Sharks, obviously. 2-year deal there and making $9.5 million per season. So still making quite a lot of money. Berkeley Cat down to 86, only 1 X factor. This Sharks team honestly looks like they're back to being a rebuilder, although the defense is really solid. Like, the top 3, bottom 3 aren't great. Like I said, usually that's the case, though, future years. 87 overall starting goalie. I mean, maybe they'll surprise us, but I'm not seeing a playoff team here. All right, guys, for the end of the 18th season now, as you can see, the Boston Bruins won the Stanley Cup, and they actually beat the Sharks in the Stanley Cup final. The Sharks finally make it. Unfortunately, they get swept. A bit of an embarrassment, but they swept the Oilers round 1, beat the Canucks in 5. Flames, there was a good series. They won in 7. And then getting swept there by the Boston Bruins. I mean, I'm honestly surprised they even made the playoffs, let alone making it to the Stanley Cup Finals. So maybe we'll see some more for Celebrini this season. As you can see, they actually got 3rd place in the Pacific. They tied for points with the Canucks, but they got matched up with the Oilers, so again, they swept. So pretty impressive. And Berkeley Cat there led the team in scoring 85 points. Earl 2nd. Celebrini 3rd with 70. Hagens all the way down to 61. But I mean, that's actually pretty good. They had 4 guys on the team, 60 plus. Smith was only 1 off. Celebrini was a -9, down to an 85 now. Not ideal. Again, gonna have 1 more year left there, making $9.5 million. And I think this is technically his first award. Of course, that being the Clarence Campbell Trophy. Individually here, though, we'll take a look and see if he potentially got something. I'm doubting it, though. And yeah, no awards for Celebrini still. And check this out, guys. I was curious if maybe Celebrini retired early, and he did not, but Connor Bedard did. 36 years old, calling it quits. 1,680 points, 855 goals there, so he almost breaks Gretzky's record. Also, Demidov there, who was in the same draft as Celebrini, retires there. Over a point per game, and he actually finished his career with Detroit. Also, Will Eklund there, obviously longtime Shark. He's played his entire career in San Jose. He retires as well. And there's actually a few more players from the 2024 draft class retiring. You got Caden Lindstrom there. You've also got Levshinov. He was a little bit further down, obviously, being a defenseman. Cole Hudson as well here, I believe, was 2024 draft. Yeah, he was, 2nd round pick. Even Anton Salayev there retired. Only had 432 points, down to a 74. 9th overall pick by the Kings. Carter Yakimachuk there. Jeez, honestly, like, yeah, a lot of 2024 draft players retiring. All right, guys, now to start the 19th season. Celebrini still in the first line, even though he's down to an 84 overall there at 36. He's playing with Berkeley Cat and this Domi guys, 90 overall. The rest of the team, I mean, a lot of 70s here for a team that just made the Stanley Cup final. Defensively, though, they still have, you know, the top 3 who are very solid. They got an 85 goalie in Noakes. So, like I said, later on in franchise, you don't get as many, you know, good players just because it's kind of how it works, the draft and everything. But we'll see if this team can surprise us once again. All right, guys, so at the end of the 19th season, you can see there the Pittsburgh Penguins actually win the Stanley Cup. Unfortunately, the Sharks do not make the playoffs. So after making the Stanley Cup final, they all of a sudden go back to being bad. Very up and down. You can see there, he finished with 76 points. Luckily, I don't think they were the last place team in the league. Let me take a look here. And yeah, no, they weren't last. They were 4th last, though, so not too far off. And now looking at the team stats here, guys, you can see Celebrini was 3rd in scoring with 75 points, minus 23. Down to 84 overall again. This is last year of his $9.5 million contract. We'll see if he resigns, retires, signs somewhere new. Basically, at this point, I think the only trophy he has a chance of getting is like the Lady Bing, and even then, probably not putting up the points for it, but you never know. Maybe you could just somehow randomly get it, but unfortunately not this season. And now Macklin Celebrini is not retiring, guys, but you will see another longtime Shark. Will Smith does. Also, too, Cole Eiserman there was part of his draft class. Calls it a career there with the Vegas Golden Knights. And now check this out, guys. After 19 seasons, Celebrini finally testing free agency. 37 years old, 84 overall. He's looking for $8 million on a 2-year deal. He's got bomb 6 potential. He still has a few X factors. He did have 75 points last year. Let's see where he signs. And now this is kind of funny, guys. Even after going to free agency, Celebrini still re-signed to the San Jose Sharks. 83 overall now, AHL potential. This might be his last season, even though he did sign a 2-year deal there for $7 million. AHL potential is usually a pretty good sign of guys about to retire. They're still playing on the first line there with Mooney and Domi. Maybe he'll get traded at the deadline. Actually have a chance to win a Stanley Cup. Defensively, they still got the sick top 3. They still got a decent goalie. Are they playing Celebrini first power play? They are. Let's see if he can maybe win his first award here and potentially his final season. So now, guys, at the end of the 20th season, you can see there the LA Kings win the Stanley Cup. That's actually one of the Sharks' rivals, so kind of insult to injury as they do not make the playoffs. Luckily, though, they didn't have a terrible season. As you can see there, finished 6th place in the division, 85 points. That might honestly be like the first time they finished 6th. I feel like for the most part, they've either been a playoff team or like the last place team in the division. And look at the stats here, guys. Celebrini put up 86 points as a 38-year-old, led the team in scoring, +9 rating. Down to 83, still has a few X factors. Was that his best season ever? No, he had an 88 season there. He had an 87, which was 1 higher. Okay, so I mean, his 2nd best season ever, and it comes at 38 years old. That is actually pretty funny. And now I saw he only had 12 penalty minutes, so maybe he takes home the Lady Bing. No, it actually goes to a Ducks player there in Kincaid, so I don't see Celebrini win anything, and yeah, he does not. And look at this, guys. The time is finally here. After 20 seasons in the NHL, Macklin Celebrini calls it a career. 1,640 games played, 553 goals, 875 assists with 1,428 points. Alexander Nikishin here actually had more points than the D-man, exact same amount of games played. Pretty crazy. Michael Misa there retires with him. Same with Zane Parekh, James Hagan. So we'll take a look at Celebrini. Finished there at 83 overall, so he definitely still could have kept playing, even though he had that AHL potential. You can see his final stats there. Nasty hands. Shot was, decent, but definitely could have been better. His skating went way down. Physical as well. Defensive stats, he still had 89 D awareness, 94 poise, few X factors. Again, still had 1 year left on his contract. He decided, you know what, I don't care. Again, he plays his entire career at the San Jose Sharks. Unfortunately, didn't win a single individual award. The only team award they won was the King Clancy when they won the Western Conference before getting swept by the Boston Bruins in the Stanley Cup Final. Again, finishing 2 with his 2nd best season ever. Or I guess, sorry, 3rd best season. His best one there was 38-39, had 88 points. And I think, yeah, 2nd best was 87. So, definitely kind of strange how he had like this weird lull when he was in his 20s and should have been growing. I don't really know what happened there, but I mean, it's definitely, still cool to see the progression. And again, 1,428 points is a pretty good career. Like, he's got the 3rd highest here of all the guys retiring. It does suck, like I said. Never won a Stanley Cup, never won an award, but sometimes that happens. And now next year, guys, I want to take a look at the record book, because I feel like Celebrini might have gone down as the best Shark of all time. We'll take a look here and see. I mean, they never won a Stanley Cup, so he doesn't really have that to worry about. Yeah, he had the most points ever, 1,428. Marlowe, though, played 1 more season. Most assists, most games played. Penalty minutes is Will Smith, actually, kind of funny. Goals there was Macklin Celebrini as well, 553. So even though he never won an award, I can confidently say he'd be going down as the best San Jose Shark of all time, especially since they still haven't won a Stanley Cup at this point. Take a look next at the season. Unfortunately, Celebrini did not get anything. That's all right. Rookie records there. He actually had the most goals, 33, also most points, so best rookie season for a Shark. Game records here, Will Eklund, most assists there with 5. None for Celebrini. And we'll take a quick look here at the career records. I doubt Celebrini is going to be at the top of any of this, but just in case you guys are curious to see how that ended up. So hopefully you guys enjoyed this one. Like I said, it does suck Celebrini didn't win a cup or any individual hardware, but sometimes it's how it goes. If you enjoyed the video, guys, leave that thumbs up. If you haven't subscribed yet, hit the sub button down below. Thank you so much for watching. Have a nice day. Goodbye.